Is the DJI Avata 2 the best drone for you? Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and switch into manual mode. So the thing about this drone is there are limits to it. You know, it's not a normal FPV drone, but it still does have quite a bit of power, I would say, for a drone like this, especially considering it is a Cinewhoop. The propellers are fully protected by guards, so that is why it is under the Cinewhoop category. DJI does not actually make a super new FPV drone. They do have the DJI FPV, but from what I've heard, I would not suggest that just because of how many bugs it came with, just overall, and how many times people have just crashed them because of super weird reasons. So I would personally not suggest it. I have not flown it, so I can't tell you for sure, but from what I've heard, I would not buy that drone. If you're gonna get into the custom FPV, the Nezgul Eco is definitely a great stepping stone into FPV. You just have to remember you do have to get, you know, goggles, the controller, and everything separate. You can use the goggles that I'm wearing and get the DJI O4 with that, but the only issue with that is that you cannot use this controller. You would either have to get the older DJI controller, or you could go ahead and go get yourself an ELRS controller, which would be, you know, your box ones, Radio Master Pockets, something like that. Just make sure you get the right range. Make sure you do your research before you buy it. But this drone, I mean, it's got a lot of power. Like, I can do flips, I can do tricks. It's pretty dang. The only thing I have found is quick U-turns. It doesn't really like that. So if I go here and then it's actually not doing it right now. Yeah, it's not doing it. There we go. That right there. It does do that quite often, I would say. Which could be a downside to you. If you're looking to fly this thing around at 100 miles an hour through an abandoned factory, this is definitely not the drone you're going with. This is more the cinematic professional worker working for clients. Something like that, you know, along the lines of you're not flying through tight spaces inside of a factory. Could you do that? Sure you could. Is it going to work out? Probably not. You're probably going to smash this thing right into the side of a window, of a small hole, of a gap you're trying to fly. And if this is your first FPV drone, definitely do not do that. Because you obviously will crash. Because one, you probably don't know how to fly in manual mode. And two, you definitely do not have the skills of a 5-year pilot. Which neither do I. If I would try to fly through a factory right now, I would not be able to. Well, I probably could, but not like tiny gaps like I see some people do. That's just pure skill. That's 10-year custom pilots. They are absolutely awesome. I have so much respect for them because they started FPV at a time when stuff like these did not exist. So you had to build your own drone, and it's just a super cool experience. And I think people who were getting into FPV at that time just have so much more knowledge than somebody like me who's getting into it, you know, for the cinema side of it and getting a pre-built one. There's still nothing wrong with getting pre-built runs. It's just definitely not going to be the experience of a custom one. Now we're going to get to the spec side of this. This comes with the O4 camera. Of course, it has around 12 miles of range with the FCC and 6 without FCC. Another thing about this is the camera quality is absolutely awesome. Client approved, everything definitely is usable for that kind of stuff. The next thing about this drone is the goggles and controller it comes with are pretty good. When you first get the controller, you do have to change it from the stick mode to, you know, the FPV mode, because it does come in that mode where it has all the springs pulling the sticks back to their position every single time that you let them go. With FPV, obviously, you let it go, it's going to keep going. You drop it, it's going to keep falling. But you need to turn it into that mode to fly in manual mode. The next thing you have to do to go into manual mode is go into settings and change that, which I have a video about that you can check out down on our channel page. For the FPV changing mode, you can go to how to navigate your DJI Goggles 3, and if you want to change the controller as well, obviously, you could go to the how to change your controller, your DJI FPV Remote Control 3 to FPV, or to manual mode. You can check that out too. The last thing I want to talk about today is the amount that this drone should be used in the field of drone flying professionally. And I think it should be used quite a bit, because the thing about Cine Whoops overall is they're a lot safer. They can still have a lot of power, and you can fly them closer to people, because an open-bladed FPV drone, you run into somebody, not only you're probably going to cut them, you're probably going to bang them up pretty bad, and if you don't have the right insurance, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The next thing that is something that these drones have is this drone does have return to home. So if I was in the sky and I lost connection, for example, it would go into return to home mode and come back to me. DJI's return to home is among the best, if not the best, return to home on the market that comes with a drone. The last thing that I really wanted to talk about that I forgot to is if you're like, say you're in a dive or something and oh shoot, like, you know, I don't like what's going on, I just want to stop. Look at that. There's a button on the side, on the top of your controller, and then it'll freeze your drone, switch into normal mode, and you can just fly around, and then it'll switch back into manual mode. You go and do this mode, and you could just fly back to yourself. Or you could do return to home, which is obviously holding that pause button. I've yet to test the return to home, but I definitely will, because supposedly it is really good. So, do you think the DJI Avata 2 will be your next drone? Tell me in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.